Those two investments represent about 15% of our assets, about 10% for Tesla, 5% for SpaceX. I've watched this with puzzlement, everything that's happening, but I think that one element that is going to be important for Elon is that he will be able to, he understands where there's unusual spending that's much greater than it should be, and how that can be corrected. Pretty easy, actually. You have a lot of cost-plus contracts. So they can be changed to the way contracts work for SpaceX, where they take the risk instead of the government. So
our assets are made up of about 15% of these two investments, 10% for Tesla and 5% for SpaceX. Seeing everything that's going on has left me confused, but I think one thing that will be important for Elon is to know where spending that is much higher than it should be is happening and how that can be fixed. It's actually pretty easy. There are many cost plus contracts, which means that SpaceX may be able to change the way contracts work so that they bear the risk instead of the government. For the person who is hiring, cost plus deals don't work very well. Let's talk about cost plus contracts. In these contracts, you agree to work for the government and get paid a certain amount. Then you find a lot of other people to do the work for you. You make more money when subcontractors take longer and cost more. That's because you get an extra 12% on top of everything as a prime contractor. You'd like things to cost more. In this case, the government sent a program because they want to send people to and from the International Space Station, the IS. This happened about 10 years ago. First, they gave a $4 billion, $300 million 0 cents deal to Boeing. The next year, they gave a $2 billion, $100 million 0 cents deal to SpaceX. Since then, SpaceX has gone back and forth 40 times. When Boeing got there, they couldn't get their guys back, so we had to go get them. The price of that deal is now 18 billion yen. It will cost 98 billion 0 cents, or $88 billion 0 cents. The price tag was set at to the power of $11 billion 0 cents. So it's good for them when something takes longer and costs more. At SpaceX, if something goes wrong at 4:30 on a Friday, no one goes home until it's fixed. Girl, it's 4:30. Let's leave this place. The government owns the money, not them, so they don't care. The cost plus deal should be thrown out. That's the first one. The second thing is that you have to launch regularly at your sites regularly, like a lot of times every day, if you want to go back and forth or send 1 million people to Mars. A plane doesn't have to get permission every time it takes off. So if you have to do that every time you launch, it certainly slows you down. It's not possible. In other words, the rules need to be changed as well. This means that the rules that are in place now need to be more fair, and you need to have something different. This cost plus contract stuff needs to go. To fully understand Tesla's amazing progress, one must not merely watch from the outside. Thinking Alpha is the place to go for Tesla fans and people who are always on the lookout for the next big thing in the stock market. It has all the latest news on Tesla, Elon Musk, Tesla stock price goals, and Tesla innovations. If you click on one of the ad links in the description and buy something, our channel may get a fee. Think that his ideas were like mine. I no longer think of myself as a Democrat. He did, however, share my ideas for a long time. But I believe that unions like the UAW and teachers unions have taken over the Democratic Party. One really cool thing was that there was an EV meeting at the White House. This has been talked about for a year or two now. They also called the top people in electric cars to the White House at that time to meet with President Biden. And Musk was invited at first, but then was taken off the list. And Mary Barra was praised for being the one who led the way in change. Even though I like Mary Barra, she only made 29 cars that quarter and they were all electric. We made $300,000 0 cents. She was the one asked and she was praised for being the leader in the switch from gas-powered cars to electric ones. This is why I don't want Elon Musk in the White House. A lot of people who were interested said, no, I can't have someone who isn't union. While the UAW has tried to unionize Tesla's plants, they have not been able to because the people who work there are getting rich because they own Tesla stock. The same goes for SpaceX. People can't join a group if they're happy where they are. 5.8 million people registered for 30,000 jobs at Tesla and SpaceX last year. There are 30,000 jobs for 5.8 million people. About 150,000 people work for Tesla and about 15,000 work for SpaceX. That being said, they got 5.8 million applications. They hire the best people. They hire the best people and have them do their best. And how do you get people like that to join the union where all they do is take money off the top? There's nothing interesting about their job. I live on my own. There are many of their rules I don't agree with. I'm not sure where they came from. I think that if someone is really smart and works really hard, they should be able to gain from the way things are set up. You know, the Democratic Party wants to say, okay, we'll lift you up. If someone isn't doing well, I'm okay with giving people chances. I don't like taking something from other people. Since his job is to give advice, I don't think he's giving much advice right now. The people who are put in these jobs aren't chosen by him, but I don't think he is. However, he was meant to show up. Told you about this before. We had a funny bit plan. Why don't we talk about the future for 30 minutes instead? He asked when I told him. Yeah, great, I said. Yesterday, they called and said he can't do it. He is at Mar-a-Lago. Can't make it happen. Can't go. Not allowed to enter. People can't get in. He told me that he doesn't miss any meetings at SpaceX. I don't know how he does everything. Before we go into more detail about Tesla, I just want to say a word or two. The first thing is that it's the safest car the world has ever seen. The world's best car ever made. And about a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks ago, a man drove his wife, 2 girls, and themselves off a cliff, 250 feet above the ground. He was going 71 miles per hour and trying to kill himself and someone else at the same time. The car jumps off the edge and rolls all the way to the bottom. Any other roof is not 30 or 40% as strong as a Tesla's roof. Also, the car's center of gravity is in the middle, not the front. At the bottom, it rolls and everyone looks down. Then they lower people down, open the doors, and people are just sitting there. Everything was okay. I never heard of that before. Elon was told to text or tweet about this and tell people that if they want to kill themselves, they shouldn't drive a Tesla. You know, they should drive a Bentley. Do not drive a Bentley up the hill. You will die. Try not to do it in a Tesla. First, it's the best car ever made. He also tweeted about it, of course. Toyota comes in second. A few months ago, my son, Michael Barron, and I went to Japan to see Toyota. And we had a translator with us because we don't speak Japanese when we met with the top boss. That's right. That person did speak English. That's why we asked him questions. and at first, he answers my questions in English. He then changes to Japanese all of a sudden. It always does that when the question is tough. He starts with English and then moves on to Japanese. Finally, I told him, listen, I can't talk to you in a translator at the same time. This translation is playing for me. I need to speak English with you. So it doesn't matter. Next, we left, and Toyota's whole plan was to show that they don't like electric cars. His goal was to state, we want to have the lowest cost of mobility in the whole world. And because of that, wealthy people can plug in their cars, but there isn't always power where you are, so you can't plug it in. We're not interested in that. So here at. As we were leaving, I told Michael, I don't understand what plan they have here.